Say what? Look.
It's the new OGs. The new OGs is a State and Madison Entertainment production that is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is black-owned and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral, and that is actually going up to $750 per referral very shortly, so stay tuned for that.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes, sir. Oh, look,
So
I
check
like
it out.
this. Hey.
Yeah.
With the beat. That's
You know what
nice.
it is. Here it is.
What's up?
Excel's high for the first time in a minute.
Yeah, me too. I'm
So-
pretty excited about that.
I wasn't even paying attention this time for real. So when I'm asking these questions, I need this for me because I don't know.
Right. You may have
It sounds like
forgotten.
the commercial might have changed.
There's some new things that are
Yeah.
happening.
So it sounds like people could save money every month for their bill.
Yeah, on their bill, they can save money every month. There's some great programs now that allow you to take advantage of a lot more when it comes to rebates and things for solar now. Yep.
That's awesome. It also sounds like by doing this, they could do a small piece to help the earth a little bit.
Just a little bit to help the earth. Yeah, that's just a little bit of the part. You know?
And this is why I say I'm a little bit high for the first time in a little bit. And I know this commercial. I know it by heart. And I know every week you say somebody can get $500 just for referring somebody.
Yeah.
But it sounded like to me, sounded like you said, now it's $750?
Yeah, it's $750 now. Yeah, it's big now, baby. It's big.
Man, that's almost as good as this spot called Surfs Up in Romeoville. Surfs Up in Romeoville, check it out. The food is fire. You know what it is? Bam! Commercial inside a commercial.
If you want to get paid the type of promotional money XL does to do this type of stuff, you want to get over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in touch with somebody to get a consultation or refer somebody that you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy on Facebook. We're brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere they are, Twitch. See all the great shows they have offered there. Check in daily. They've got new, fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to wherever you listen to pods.
That
what is
is
up,
what's
y'all?
up, man.
We got no Rob today.
No Rob today, man. He's in the air right now.
He's in the air, yeah.
Fly. He always fly, but he's actually flying.
Yeah, Phil Collins is singing about him right now.
That's it.
He's in the air tonight. No Rob today. He's
because Hollywood called him home.
Yeah, Hollywood called him home for a project, so he had to run back to the house for a minute. He had some real official work going on he had to go do. So it's us today. It's the original 2 crew.
The OG.
The OG OGs.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it makes you see there it works. That's why it works with us being the new OGs, because it'll be the new OGs with Rob forever. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it's gonna be. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm groovy as fuck, man. I had like a real wild week, man. I went to war with GoDaddy. They hold my my website, which I don't even have up right now, but more importantly, my email, the email XL Comedy Show. If you like try to get in touch with me for something,
right.
XL@XLComedyShow.com.
Right.
They manage that. They have the web server for that, and long story short, for owning a domain name with them, you get an email. It's part of the thing. It's part of the promotion when they give you the email, right?
Right.
So they switched over to Microsoft Outlook, and Outlook costs $26. And I saw it, and I was like, okay, great. That means they just doubled my fucking domain shit, whatever, right?
Sure.
I was like, fuck it. I need it. This is my email.
Right.
I'll
Why
pay
not?
it.
Let's roll.
But I had like 3 months left on my contract before it was up again, and these motherfuckers like, nah, you got to pay for the Outlook now. And I was like, wait,
no.
Wait, but the way they explained it to me was they kept saying, I said, the email comes with my domain name. And they go, yeah, we offered it free, but now we're not offering it free anymore. I said, no. I understand you offered it free, but when I paid for it, it was part of the fucking deal.
Up until a date. There's a date in which that expired, which I'm comfortable, like, if the time runs out and it's time for a new contract.
Yeah, I was fully like, I get it. And Outlook is actually, it's a much better looking email, better functioning, more easier to access through other apps and shit. So I'm happy about the upgrade to Outlook. I'm not even upset about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're comfortable with paying the more money when the time comes for you to have to pay the more money for
exactly.
it. You just don't want to do it now.
But they hit me. But here's the shit. This is the thing. They sent me the thing and I saw it, and I just, in my mind, I just like, when I renew at the end of the year, it'll come up. And I went to go to my email and my shit was off. I couldn't. They was like, yeah, your account's suspended or whatever. So they kept repeating like, yeah, it was free then. It's not free. I was like, hey, the next person to say that, I'm gonna find out where this office is at.
And that was this week, right?
That was this week.
I learned a valuable lesson this week. Like you, I had my the last time I smoked weed was last Saturday.
Okay.
And it was I think it was before our last show Saturday night in Indianapolis. It was like that afternoon I smoked. Yeah. And I planned to take a weed break because my tolerance had been way low. Like my tolerance had been way up. I'd just been like, running through weed. Yeah. And just because I was just smoking more because like to get to the feeling I'm trying to get to, which I wasn't sure, like. And then there was this opportunity where I'm like, okay, cool. I can take this week. I'll be off weed. I'll see like, will my diet be much different? Will some of my habits be much different? Will I remember anything? Like what's going on here? And I realized that the actual real reason I smoke weed is because I wanted to slaughter most of the people I encountered during the week. I mean, my patience, like I tell people now, like I used to fight a lot and used to get in all these issues and skirmishes and I punched cab drivers and all this stuff. And they're like, what like got it? What helped? And I like name off like a number of things that I think are the reasons. It's just one, baby.
It was Mary Jane.
It's just that one
Mary
thing.
Jane.
It's just my like the amount of patience I have is just greatly reduced.
Oh my God, I'm so happy we didn't have to do anything together this week.
I would have. I'm being short with people. Like I was being short with people that just had with no reason to like. I never have a reason to be short.
Yeah.
I'm like the amount of times that I yelled at a television this week or at an inanimate object that wasn't where I thought it was supposed to be. I don't know. It was.
Did you watch any baseball last night?
No, I watched.
Because you would have screamed at the TV.
My baseball season ended when the White Sox.
Mine did too. I didn't even watch this. I just saw the highlight.
I watched the full game to the end. Even though they were down fucking 10-1.
No, 10-1.
I watched the whole thing.
You got to.
You
have to. Because who wants to be the person that missed the miracle?
Here's, I was brought up in a home where you don't want to waste anything, right? And so like. I was through T-Mobile. I had the MLB thing for free. I pay for cable. I pay for my streaming service. I'm not gonna waste this money.
I got it.
You know what I mean? Like I'm bought in. You know what I mean? It's just like I jumped in on League Pass this year. It's like every Bulls game we can find. I put my location as Sacramento, so that hopefully you have to make a decision, right? Like when you're doing the League Pass, they do block out. They block out because they have a deal with local cable companies to get you to buy local cable. That's a whole deal. And so if you're in your hometown, you can't watch your hometown team. You better get fucking local cable if you want to see your hometown team play.
Or pay 119, right? 120, right?
Blackout games are blackout games.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter. You can the greatest League Pass you can get, all the teams, all the games, no commercials, 2 users.
They still black them out.
They want you.
That's trash, man.
And I'll be honest, I live in Milwaukee right now, and Bally Sports sucks. The app is weird. There's no way to pay. Like you still can't get the Bucks games there. Like they want you to have cable. It's like a tie-in to keep you on cable.
Wow.
You can't. There's no stream thing. We've tried to do shit with like Xfinity using cable.
We've talked about it.
No, we made the attempt. It doesn't work, so it doesn't matter. Like they put the thing in to prevent exactly what we try to do. It's okay.
Attempting a crime is still a crime. No,
it's not even a crime. It's a company policy.
I'll fuck with you.
They have those in place because they know everybody's going to try.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I really did just think if that was a crime, but it really isn't. It's just like
there's a problem.
They don't just. No, in my mind, I thought about it like that, but until you just said that, it's just their policy.
Like worst thing that would happen is they call you and be like, "You can't have Xfinity anymore," and be like, "Yeah, your shit's expensive. I'm moving on." You know what I mean? Like we're out of here. And so
I do love their internet. Their internet's typically fast.
You know what's wild is I tried to set my location for places where there are no NBA teams. I tried Iowa and then I tried New Mexico, and in both places there's multiple teams that you can't use it. It's like 3 teams in each place are just like these are essentially your home teams. They're all blacked out.
They're just the teams that the NBA decided is the home team for that.
So I chose.
There's probably some information like. They know what people there want to watch for some. There's people in Iowa who watch the Pelicans for some fucking reason.
It's the Timberwolves and the Bulls are locked out in Iowa. And
wow, you know off the top of your head. Wow.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But anyway, so I chose Sacramento because I had to choose a place where like I could only have one team that was locked out. I needed to be a Western Conference team because the Bulls only going to play them twice.
Yeah.
And like if I missed those games,
Who cares?
I don't give a fuck. And also, like, yeah, I also don't give a fuck about Sacramento. Like, of the Western Conference teams, that's the one I'm least worried about making a giant.
Yeah,
they're not going to make a giant jump this year.
No, I thought they had a good rookie. I can't remember.
They got De'Aaron Fox, and they got that new Mitchell kid, Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, I knew they had.
Great.
Yeah.
We got Harrison Barnes, fun to watch, but like.
Yeah, you're right. You don't give a fuck about missing
after
that
that's
game.
a sinkhole. I'd be okay with everything after that. So it was but yeah, so I fortunately have rejoined the weed world this week.
Yay! Welcome back.
Because one of the things that makes me very happy is when I go to look
weed.
for a game I'm looking for, and there's no way to find it. I'm just like, what is this absurdity? Yeah, it was a wrong time for a lot of things that have to get done this week. I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of I have not spent so much time being business Bobby in a minute.
Yeah.
And this week was like heavily business Bobby. Holy shit, man! It's been
business Bobby, and you didn't have weed. Damn,
I know.
That is.
I mean, I was efficient. Don't get me wrong.
Not all heroes wear capes.
I was efficient. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, let me tell you this real quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't have a Rob, so I was worried about getting a Rob, and I just remembered he's not here again.
Yeah, Rob is on the plane. By the way, I didn't want to say this about Rob. Tell this to Rob when he was saying he was getting on the plane, but it has come to my attention that although the deadline for TSA employees to get vaccinated is November 22nd, at the moment, currently 40% of TSA employees are not vaccinated.
Wow.
I heard one company.
One company said they had like 90-something%. Like I think it was United.
Maybe United.
United said they're like 90.
Nobody else is United in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, well, there's like 2 or 3 airlines based in Texas. Southwest, I know, is in Texas,
where they're fighting
which is huge.
Where they're fighting mask mandates.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Where these places are based. American, I think, is based in Philadelphia. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were saying Rob's not here today.
Oh yeah. But no, I was saying the other part. This was a roller coaster moment for me. Sorry, son. I'm going to share this story because he doesn't even know this story. This is funny though. My son sent me a TikTok about basketball or something that he made, and it was funny or whatever. And I didn't even realize he had a TikTok, so I was like, "Oh, he has a TikTok. He has a few TikToks on." And he had one. It was a girl who looked like a girl who I suspected might be his girlfriend. So I was like, "Let's see what this is." And I clicked on it.
Down a rabbit hole, huh?
It wasn't even a rabbit hole. It was one. It wasn't even a rabbit hole. It was like that video. I click on the video.
A depression in the earth is all it was.
It's a cute young lady, and she goes, "Oh no, he wants me to sit on him, but I might hurt him." And then it clicks to, you can't see him, but I recognize his voice. My son, in a very deep voice, goes, "If I die, I die." In fact, that's the exact way I want to go. nigga, I was, I didn't. Oh God!
You didn't know, like.
Oh,
inside,
I
like,
talk about didn't see it coming.
Were you mad about how pleased you were with the hilarity of it,
dude? First of all, here's the thing. This is what really fucks me up. And I think I've told you this before, that my dad's friends told me a story of him doing something that I did, and I didn't realize until later on that they were talking about them. I thought they were talking about me because I did the exact same shit.
Right.
I have that as a joke that he's never seen. I know he's never seen it because it's not recorded. I don't have it on any videos or anything like that. But I have that as a fucking joke when I'm talking about cake is number 2.
Right.
Dying fucking is number 1.
Right.
And I say it almost the same. It like. Genetics are motherfucker.
He will surpass you.
No. Oh God.
That's the whole idea, man. That's the whole.
I want him to be better than me. I want him to be better than me.
What if you
surpass?
Like,
I took surpass wrong.
You know what happens if they don't surpass us?
Yeah, we die. we as a species.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that there's some of us here who work really hard to prevent it from happening.
Oh yeah. Texas.
Yeah, there's a lot of people prevent it from happening.
They don't want to see us progress.
Tough start, or tough week in a couple other ways too. Timuel Black, who is he was an activist, a historian, civil rights leader. He actually passed away. He was 102, so it wasn't, it was not completely It's not uncommon for 102-year-olds to die, so it's not like it was insane that had happened.
Actually, good on him for making 102.
Dude,
man.
if you're involved in civil rights at a time when he was involved with civil rights and you make it to 102, it's like, man, and you're as visible as he was? Because some people are like, yeah, I was in the civil rights movement, and they ain't in no pictures, and it's like... like, my mom was the right age in 69 to be at Woodstock, but she ain't going to tell you she was there. You know what I mean?
There you go. Hey, if you ever see Boondocks, there's a whole episode about the great.
Yes, I have seen that episode.
Yeah, where were you at?
I was getting my raincoat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this dude, I mean, this man is like second from the left in pictures of Martin Luther King and shit. You know what I mean? Like this man's got sit downs with Rahm Emanuel. This is no joke.
Yeah.
And great humanitarian Chicagoan. Involved in World War II.
Legend.
Just a legend of things that were going on. That was somebody who
he the brother. He is why they're afraid of us, Bobby.
Yeah,
like that's why they think we're superheroes. And shit.
They're like, listen, man, you can survive. Well, here's the thing. I like. Of course, you should be afraid of the potential of black people. You literally bred the strongest of us. Like, oh, you're shocked that we're the fastest middle linebackers in the fucking world? Like, come on, man. These are the ones you kept. Like, obviously,
so we survive.
This is like you sparted us, and then you're surprised that we have the greatest warriors. Like, what are you talking about? Of course, man. Like, no wonder it's such an amazing thing when one of y'all beats us at something. It's like, you weren't making each other like this. Y'all were just fucking all willy nilly. You know what I mean?
Cousins like this shit, trying to keep money in the same family.
Yeah, you should be surprised that you ever win anything ever when it comes to anything physical. Closer to home, there are a couple other tough losses. Did you know Ricardo Flanagan?
I did not.
I knew the comedian Ricardo. I mean, I knew of his work and stuff, and I obviously we have friends of his. I may have been at a party or two with him in L.A. He was good friends with Mateen Stewart, who hosts some great, fun spots for comics to hang out, which is super cool. So I know I've seen him on stage. I don't know if we've ever really talked with comics, man. You go to so many shows, and sometimes just like, did I? I mean. Obviously not an in-depth enough of a conversation to be anything more than like, hey, what's up, or what's going on, or like be in the same circle of people talking. But
I know he's well loved, man.
He is loved, and he's very funny,
all over my
dude.
timeline.
Very funny fucking guy.
Like, we weren't even friends on Facebook, and when you're in comedy, you're friends with fucking everybody, There's plenty of comics I've never actually met.
When you're alive and other comics repost your shit, it's always great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he passed away this week, which was tough, and I've seen a lot of people struggling with that. And then recently, Ryan Walker, who was he wasn't from Chicago originally, but was in Chicago. I think he's from Kansas City.
Yeah.
Was good friends with obviously very close comic friends of ours. I remember meeting him early on when I came here. He was always such a nice, sweet, open-hearted guy, and also very fucking funny.
Yeah.
Very, very, very fucking well-respected, solid comic. Who moved,
good dude, man.
And like a good, and so it's a wild time, man. It's one of the things about being a new OG is realizing like, oh yeah, like in your 20s, it's like insanely crazy when you have 2 or 3 friends that pass away in a week, or like you have a month where you have like multiple shit going on. But like, man, like as you start to hit the time when like, you've got kids, you start being like, oh right, like this is the inevitability. Like this is a crazy thing that's going on, and then you start cheering for cyborg legs. That's when you start like everybody's like, do you really want cyborg legs? I'm like, what are you, 20? Like, do you not understand what the fuck is going down? We're running out, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, man, I cannot wait for the singularity, baby.
Like, I think it's crazy.
I want to be uploaded.
I think it's crazy that Dick Cheney doesn't have a heart, but I get it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the alternative? I'm dead. Fuck you. You know, that's a man I believe does not believe in a heaven. Or doesn't believe he's going there. No. Keep me alive. I don't no heart. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, man.
Make me Arnim Zola. Make me MODOK. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, for real. Exactly, 100%, man.
I want no part of that. Something else that people want no part of.
Robot belly face.
Something that people want no part of nowadays is Jon Gruden. That is a thing that's going on.
Hey man, look, I give you high praise when you do the crazy no look segues drops, but that one was a little clumsy, man. that one I if I was at home eating, I'd be choking right now.
Yeah, that's part of the idea, right? That's the whole goal is to catch people off guard.
Are you trying to get people spit taken? Okay,
that's what a no look is all about, man. Is to catch people by surprise. These emails caught me by surprise. Jon Gruden, I don't know this fucking man, but as a guy who, well, there's two sides of it, right? There's one, it's like he's been with all these guys of all different races that he's coached and been around, and they keep bringing people back. And rarely do I hear when there's any team that he's left, rarely do I hear like the team all of a sudden was mad at the dude. The guy stopped, the performance doesn't get as good. They end up with some shit players. They roll over their roster. Shit moves on. But nobody had said anything like, this guy's a piece of shit. And when he was in the booth, he was entertaining. And I'm like, Jon Gruden, he's boisterous, but like
he said goofy shit.
The quarterback camp shit he used to do with the college guys, I was like, oh, this guy,
he was John Madden-esque to me.
But the other side of this is football. Yeah. And the tough thing, people don't get it, and I think there's a lot of people that like, it's the same thing I feel about people who are like gender as a construct and then want to do gender reveals for their kids. It's like, oh, you mean for everybody else, right? Like, you believe in progressiveness and like protecting black people in a lot of ways, but not in this way, right? And or even people at all, right? Like the league is largely black, but like in protecting people at all. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to tell you that we need to shut down football, but the mindset behind, and the same way that I'm telling you that we don't have to, like, that I'm not like, yeah, we should just shut down capitalism tomorrow. Yeah. But the main problem I have with football, similar to capitalism, is that like the construct of what is in the backbone of what's going on, the way that the game is, the way you have to be sometimes to play the game, creates
monsters.
Creates scenarios where brain damage doesn't help.
I understand no players ever say anything bad about him because it's politics and shit. You don't.
Sure, yeah. You want to make your next contract. Yeah, right? You don't shit on him.
And that dude might be your coach. You get traded, you get cut,
they brought this guy back and give him a 10-year, $100 million contract, right? Like it's not like Like obviously they're like the players will love him.
Yeah.
Like LaRussa, they brought him back on a 1-year deal because they're like, we have no fucking clue.
Well, I could tell you as an athlete the concept of liking, like, people have this misconception that think people love their teammates, man. I have never been on a team where like everybody got along, and I played on a lot of fucking basketball. I played on a lot of basketball, football team. Fuck no.
There's 50 to 80 people on a team. It's impossible.
Also, not only is it 50 to 80 people on a team, half the team spends full all of their time trying to fuck up the other half of the team.
Yes.
Like literally, it's your job to like shut these other niggas down and make them look bad.
Yes.
So
yes.
So it's like, it's inherent to have conflict like that. But even on a smaller team like a basketball team, I've never been on a basketball team where everybody likes each other.
No. Yeah. There's always some. I mean, 15 people. It's hard to have. What do you guys? Circle of 4, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're one of the circle of 4. Well, that's fucking almost 4 different circles of 4 people that want to do different shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You lucky if 7 or 8 people want to hang out together for real.
Oh yeah, dude. I gotta tell you, the multiple circles of 4 would never hang out with each other. You all would hate each other. It's weird because they all. Yeah, you're right. Like obviously, it's different circles, but they all like me. But you guys would fucking hate each other.
That's how my dating life is. That's all. It's not that any of them are bad or they even necessarily believe different shit, right? Like a lot of them all believe. It's just like no. But you don't want to be doing the same shit at the same time ever. That's the whole point. But the thing is like Gruden's the thing that when I'm talking about that with football, like the ingrained shit is like there is this level of a traditional concept of masculinity that's tied into how football operates, where the idea of calling, dudes, pussies or using homophobic slurs, objecting to the idea of a gay person playing in the league, especially by a coach who currently has an out gay person on his team. Which I think people are almost forgotten about in the whole midst of all this, right? Like,
totally. When
like
they
before
said
the
it
season
like 2
started,
days
they were
later,
like,
I was like,
this guy
shit.
came out of the closet. He plays for the Raiders, and they're not getting rid of him, and everybody seems to be cool about it. And then Here we go.
The way he came out was super cool too. Because he was just like, I'm gay now. I'm back. Go play football now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like, what up? Like a little dick. I'm gonna go tackle some dudes. See you later.
yeah. Basically, like it's not a big deal. I shouldn't even have to do this shit. But
pretty sure another year guaranteed on the contract. Go fuck yourselves. Like.
Yeah.
But the issues, and also on top of that, which I think became a little side controversy that happened, was the idea that he had said some shit about. I mean, the original thing that kicked it off was he said some shit about DeMaurice Smith's lips. Yeah. Which, the thing is, people make physical, quips about people's physical looks all the time. But the difficulty is if you're going to be in a league where you're going to pay $100 million over 10 years, and he wasn't at that time, but this is the thing he's got now. If you're going to pay that kind of money, you have that type of responsibility. You're in front of the cameras all this much. You're dealing with respect and responsibility with all this thing. It's one of the largest. It's the largest entertainment thing going on in this country. You have to realize the history of white people saying things about black people's facial features in regards to trying to put them down. Yeah. It's just a response. If you can't do that, you're not ready for this level of work.
So, and here's the thing. There were some people who said when he said the thing about DeMaurice Smith's lips that maybe he shouldn't get fired. And to be honest with you, when that first came out, I was kind of like, I
agree. I think
whatever.
I would have thought a real apology and a commitment to going through some like racial sensitivity stuff to like get him back on board, and a DeMaurice Smith like acceptance of said apology.
Exactly.
If it would have been just that and nothing else, I'd have been like, bet, let him keep his job.
And I know some people right now, especially after everything with the Chappelle special, some people might say, oh, when he was the gay stuff, that's when he got fired. I disagree. I think when it was the second thing is when he got fired. Because if it had been another racial slur about somebody else, or maybe the N-word or something like that, if it had been another, or if it had been sexual harassment, if it had been anything else right there on the back
second thing would have been fine. If it had been if the gay stuff would have been first, if the homophobic slur stuff would have been first,
I don't think it would have been as big of a deal.
Hold on, if the homophobic slur shit would have come out first, and then the lip shit would have come out, he still would have gotten fired. Yeah. It didn't matter which order. It just happened to be the first thing they let out was that. Yeah. And that got a big gasp. And then the next shit came out, and they were like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't have a second thing drop moments after you apologize for the first thing. Like, that is literally the worst PR scenario possible. Hey, I'm real sorry about that shit I did. I'm going to work hard to never do that shit again. Right. As you leave in the press conference, say what? Huh? Oh, yeah.
Because here's the thing is, like, what real honesty would have been like, yeah, I said that stuff I feel bad about. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I said some other crazy shit in the email that was real fucked up, too. That guy is dead. I'm just going to tell you.
I've grown a lot after the pandemic. But he could have put it on COVID.
Because here's what happens is you look dishonest immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, the first thing is whatever the first thing is, but when the second thing comes out and you've had a chance to speak about the first thing before the second thing hits and you don't own up to some more shit, it's dishonest when that shit hits.
Yeah.
And it's just a terrible
because
move by him.
If that to not even think ahead to think if they saw that email they're gonna see the other ones. If you're flipping through your phone like let's say you ever go through like an old file that you had saved a long time and then you see you saw one picture from like some cool shit from that you didn't expect, Right. You gonna just stop there or you gonna keep looking to see for some more shit, right?
I did that last night. I used Dropbox for the first time in like 2 years last night and I was like, what the fuck do I have in here? And I started going through this picture and I was like, oh shit, this is from like a decade ago.
Boom.
I got Throwback Thursdays again. Holy shit.
There it is. Yeah,
I've gotten old enough that enough time has passed that I've got Throwback Thursdays. It's great.
There you go. That's what's up.
Another crazy sports story that's going on. So anyway, Gruden is out. I think that's a solid situation.
I think he's going to be done for a while too.
Yeah, I think that should be a good thing.
I'd be surprised if
another guy who's probably done for a while is Kyrie Irving. The Nets have said he's not playing on the road games either, by the way. Like, hey, man.
Did you see what Steve Kerr said?
I did not see what Steve Kerr said.
Steve Kerr, this is anybody who thinks he can just come back to the Nets and shit's going to be cool.
Oh, right.
You are highly mistaken because Steve Kerr, when asked about
well, what did we just say about it? Like, on a team of 15 people, ain't nobody gonna like everybody, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That goes for professional athletes as well, right? Like, on a team of 15 pro athletes, Like, especially when you got all this money and everybody's got their own endorsement deal and somebody's got a deal that you wish you had and shit. Like, what's Steve Kerr say?
So he said, to be honest, I didn't listen to. Sorry. This was in reference to he was asked about Kyrie Irving. He had did a IG live, kind of explaining his position, which I was going to tear apart in a second because he didn't even explain shit. But let me would say with his response to being asked if he'd watched it. He said, to be honest, I didn't listen to it. I think I've pretty much said everything I have to say about it. If something changes, we could talk about it. I really want to focus on moving forward. That means I don't give a fuck about that nigga anymore.
Right.
Like
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash said that. I said Steve Kerr. I meant Steve Nash. Steve Nash said that. And if Steve Nash felt comfortable saying that, that means Kevin Durant and James Harden pretty much feel the same way, because there's no way he speaks that demonstratively to basically like I don't give a fuck about what he's doing. I'll talk to you when if something changes. I'll talk to you.
You know how it is when there's. I mean, have you played on a team with a disruption before? I mean, have you ever? There's a point where, and it's the same thing that happened with the Raiders, right? Like literally, the general manager and the interim coach and the owner have basically said, we don't have time to fuck around with this because we're in the middle of a season and we're 3-2.
Yeah.
So like we owe the fans to give our best for the next fucking 11 games. You know, we got to play 11, 12 more games, man. We got to focus on the Broncos, goddammit. That's who's coming up. That's who we got to focus on. And it's the same thing with the Nets. Like the Nets didn't win the title last year. They didn't win. The Bucks won the title. The Bucks won the title. The Lakers have every old good-ass player who's out there in the world now. The Nuggets aren't going away. The Jazz aren't going away.
The Lakers are basically the
Bulls
Avengers.
are better. Yeah, the old Avengers. It's like
one last hurrah.
The Dark Knight Returns. That's what these.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it's not. You know. They are one. They didn't win, and two, other teams are not getting worse. Yeah, right. Like
I think the East is going to be really, really tough. Like
the window is only so open. Kyrie Irving's younger than Harden and Durant. His window's more open than theirs is, right? He got time. Durant ain't got that time. Yeah, right. Harden doesn't have a title.
And the worst part about it is he brought them there.
Harden's the one who doesn't have a title, right? Irving's got a title with the Cavs.
Exactly. So Harden,
Durant's got a title.
And James Harden got to be looking like, nigga, I could be in L.A.
I made a whole movie to get traded to this motherfucker for you.
I could be in L.A. with them niggas. You know what I'm saying? You got me out here in fucking cold-ass New York. I could be in Los Angeles because he's a big. Well, never mind.
How do you think Ben Simmons' first couple weeks in Philadelphia? How do you think now, knowing how Philadelphia is, people who threw batteries at Santa Claus at one point? How do you think the reception of Ben Simmons, who asked out of Philadelphia?
I was literally I can't remember the comic's name, but I was just listening to My Mama Told Me, Langston Kerman's podcast, and a comic from Philadelphia. They were talking about, he asked him about Ben Simmons. He goes, you know who crazy he is? It's the first time Philadelphia has been brought together. We all hate that nigga. he's like, man, I was high-fiving Proud Boys. he's like, fuck Ben Simmons. He's like, damn right. High five, bro. You know, he's like, that's how fucking united Philadelphia is in hating Ben Simmons. So I think it's gonna be bad for him, Bobby. I think it's gonna be really, really bad.
Philadelphia, if they hate you, it is fucking not fun, dude.
These they got a jail in their fucking stadium. There's a jail in their stadium. That's how fucked up they are. Not at the basketball stadium, at the football stadium. But
we're just gonna lock you up for a couple weeks.
Well, the fact to need that, the forethought to like, oh, you know, we should just go ahead and put a jail in this motherfucker because it's gonna happen.
If you don't know about the Ben Simmons situation, after this last season, a lot was made of his poor shooting ability and claims that he cost them their playoff chances, right? They were the top seed in what happened to you?
I'm sorry. Oh, I messaged my weed guy before I left my house.
What's that?
I messaged my weed guy before I left my house, and he just hit me a minute ago. He just responded 1 minute ago. We're, a half hour into the fucking show? I live an hour and a half from the studio, people. If you're listening at home or watching, I live an hour and a half on a Friday in traffic in Chicago. I'm an hour and a half away from the studio. And I called this dude before I left my house, and he just now messaged me back.
Hey, man, you know,
I hope they're watching this in the fucking barbershop.
You know, I was trying to pick up a Starbucks on my way down here, and I thought I ordered it quick enough because I ordered it like like 5 minutes before I got there. It took another 4 or 5 when I got there. So sometimes even on a real corporate situation, it doesn't work so well. The NHL actually came out with a statement as they were starting their league, which is going to be in sharp contrast. This does not bode well for stereotypes about black people not listening. The NHL has only 4 unvaccinated players in the whole league. They've got 700 plus players. So 4 are unvaccinated.
So at first I was like blown away by that because I was like, man, it seems like there'd be a lot of Trump guys in hockey. But then I thought about it and I was like, nah, there are a lot of Canadians. So of course they're fucking vaccinated. They're not part of this ignorant shit. There's a lot of Canadians and there's a lot of Europeans. Like all of them are vaccinated for sure.
All the fucking Swedes. And a lot of like that, like Swedes and Norwegian players, and Dutch and shit like that. Like those guys are all vaccinated.
Also, hockey is a sport where you're allowed to beat a motherfucker up, and you're like a player. You're a Kyrie Irving level player. Think of the exact same scenario we just said about Kyrie Irving. A hockey player of that skill, and your team has a chance to fucking win the Stanley Cup, and you pull that bullshit, they would fuck you up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody would be cool with it too.
Addition to that, they set some standards around how their process was going to work that just made people go, man, it's going to be this tight. Fuck it. Because like the rules were you had to get tested every day. If you were on the road, you had restrictions on where you could fucking go.
Yeah.
You couldn't have any family to your room when you were on the road. There were all types of things that were just like, oh, well, this is essentially like I'm playing, but I'm literally there's nothing I can experience unless I am vaccinated. And they have all their people that interact with the team and the players are all throughout the league are all 100% back. 4 players. Now,
Bobby, they didn't even let the home of hockey, Canada, the home of hockey. They didn't even have their teams in their country last year. They had an NHL season last year. Those motherfuckers are all in America.
Well, that's the biggest thing too. Is like when you have
they take it way more serious than us.
Well, if you want to be able to cross the border. Yeah. You got to have your shit together, man. You can't. And if you're playing in a league where there's multiple teams on the other side of a border, you got to get across. You can't. There's no. You don't get excused just because you play hockey to get across the border and not.
And
be
I can't believe those 4 dudes are actually going to hold out. There must be some kind of medical reason.
There may be a medical reason. What I do hope is that none of them are the black players. That's what I don't. I don't want any of them to be the black. Please don't be the. There's only 8 black guys in the NHL, and if. It does not bode well for what we're talking about. Because obviously, I don't think they name who the 4. I don't think they named who the 4 guys are. Probably medical reasons. They don't want to come out with it. But
this is why I go back to I think that Texas bill is bullshit. They did name them. Oh, God.
Oh no, those are guys who just entered the COVID-19 protocol. So at least that's not. They may be vaccinated. That doesn't necessarily say they're not.
Yeah.
So they may have entered the COVID protocol, but that's going to still happen. It's still going to happen. There's going to still people get COVID because even though you're once you're vaccinated, I've been bolder as a vaccinated person, right? Like I put myself at way more risk than I did.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know I'm vaccinated. And honestly, if I didn't have other people to deal with in my life, whether I would give less of a fuck than I do. It's only because I have to go, be home around people that I even give that much of a fuck.
And you're a good person.
And I'm a decent person. Yeah, I'm not trying to get anybody else sick. Some things that are kind of sickening to me in the Wisconsin case of Jason Blake and in the Minnesota case of Winston Smith. These are both officers who shot citizens. There's not going to be any charges or attempts to go after any of these officers in a substantive way. If you remember the Jacob Blake shooting in Kenosha, this is when shit was pretty insane. Apparently he was going to his car to get a knife or was trying to get a knife and got shot 7 times, which seems like an inordinate amount of times to shoot somebody over a knife.
I also wasn't 100% sure about the knife thing. Has that been confirmed that he was going for a knife, or is that what the cops said?
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt because I don't care. Because to me, it's like I don't care if he was going for a knife.
It's a knife and you have a gun.
7 shots is heavy.
Also, it's a knife and you have a gun. Like all you have to do is step. You have to be close contact.
There were also like 6 cops around at the time. So like. 6 of you with guns, 1 guy with a knife, and the best solution you have is shoot him.
Shoot him 7 times.
Shoot him 7. That to me, that is an inordinate amount. It's called excessive force, right?
Well, Bobby, they're brave.
It's called excessive force.
They're brave, Bobby.
They're brave about everything. Similar thing happened in Minnesota, by the way, with Winston Smith. With he was fatally shot as well. They're brave about everything except for getting
Blake survived. He wasn't fatal.
Yeah, Blake survived. The Winston Smith shot was Winston Smith was killed. Yeah. They're brave about everything except getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
That they're not brave about. Despite the fact that they are crushing it when it comes to dying on the job from COVID. And dying because of interactions on the job.
So, I know this is going to seem like a weird jump, but stick with me real quick. January 6th, the insurrection, there's still shit going on. There's still shit being investigated. And if you look, the Justice Department they're taking a real long, slow time in prosecuting the shit. And you know why they're probably having a lot of trouble in the police with vaccination shit? Because those motherfuckers are Trumpers.
Of course.
They're heavy-duty Trumpers. And I think that is when they start, if the FBI is serious about weeding out like these motherfuckers, the white supremacists and shit like that, there you have it, right there. They're identifying themselves.
Well, I mean,
there may be some people with medical conditions or stuff like that, but anybody who's on some anti-vax shit to the level when you're a cop, where you have to be around people as much as a fucking cop does, like your job is to be in around the public.
Yeah.
And to not get vaccinated, you're on some dumb shit.
Well, I don't know if you've paid attention to what's going on in Chicago right now. The issue in Chicago is there is a deadline coming up for cops to be vaccinated. And or to at least share their vaccination status. They've got to share their vaccination status of what's going on. And the head of the Chicago Lodge 7, which is the men's fraternal order lodge for police in Chicago.
Who's a Trumper?
Is a guy named Jon Catanzara, who I've talked about before, who I routinely bring up. One of the most hilarious parts of my week this week and my week of anger was getting into an argument with a Chicago cop about police brutality and the treatment of black people in Chicago. And then as soon as I started hitting with actual statistical facts, I got blocked. And I was like, yeah, you know what's up. You just don't want to admit to it. You know what I mean? And this Jon Catanzara guy is a guy who has been suspended, has stalked his girlfriend, met his current girlfriend at the high school she was attending at the time, isn't allowed to carry a gun, has been suspended, and is also the president of the Chicago Police Union, which is something that I would assume that like that should. He's got like I think 35 complaints. So
he's like
him.
the Trump of Chicago police.
It feels like that shouldn't. Like, here's the problem, because people always go, well, why can't people trust police? Well, if you let that guy be the head of your union, it's the same thing with Gruden. Like, if that's what he's put in emails, what the fuck is this guy doing behind closed doors? Yeah. If this is what you've been caught doing, this is an opinion about this guy. This is what the fuck he's been caught and suspended for. And so, like, what do you think he's okaying or approving or pushing? This is also a guy who is known to be wearing, big Trump fan, has been in the protests, has done the shit, and what he is saying is that
this motherfucker said when the dude they got shot 17 times, this motherfucker was adamantly angry and like livid that anything happened to the police officers after they fucking covered it up for a year. He was like foaming at the fucking mouth, and like in the moment of it happening, when everybody, it was almost a George Floyd moment. It was for Chicago. And people were enraged about that shit on one side. Everybody was mad at the cops about that shit. This motherfucker was literally like standing in the middle of the fucking wind, like just fuck you, they didn't do anything.
And here's the thing, I get it. The job of a union president is to protect their members. I understand that whole thing. But there is a difference in how you go about protecting them. Yeah. And this is just a gross thing.
He's not protecting them. He's not.
Well, especially not now with this idea. He's encouraging people to disregard the order, calling from the superintendent of the city. And he's telling people he's telling any police officers who are ordered to go to that portal to not do it. He's creating a giant problem here, because if you don't go, you can't work. And so this is the same people who talk all this bullshit about being worried about like what's going on in the streets. I'm in this fucking group that is, I'm in a neighborhood group that is in a big police part of the city. A lot of police live there and shit. And every other post is about some type of, how is this going on? This person's speeding down this road. It's all like little crime report shit going on. Yeah. And why isn't there enough? Why are they letting Kim Fox is letting these motherfuckers back out on the streets? You're about to be you're going to disregard this order, not be able to go to work, and put all the lives of people, if you're protecting and serving, and put all these people in danger, right? Homicides are up, even though crime is down. Homicides are up. Crime is down, by the way. Crime is down. Yeah. Homicides are up. But I don't know if anybody knows it, but Chicago has sued a gun shop in Indiana for their gun sales. You know that, right? Because of their contribution. Because you're not supposed to be able to have guns here, and they get here. So we're not selling them here.
People always try to fucking deny this shit. I know 100% it's true because I went to school in Indiana, and we fucking. Anyway, I'm not gonna say. But my point is, you can buy a gun in Indiana. You can walk. If you're an Indiana person, if you live in Indiana, you have an Indiana state ID. You can walk into the gun shop, buy a gun, walk out of the gun shop, see me, and go, "Oh, hey, what's up? What would you? I bought a gun. Oh, what is it? Oh, I like that gun. Can I have it? Yeah, here's $500. Bam, boom, boom. And there's nothing illegal.
You can sell it for any dollar amount, right?
And I just said 500. I just made it.
No, but that's even the crazier part is that you can go for $10, and someone goes, "Yeah, sure, $10. That sounds good." Like.
And no tracking, you don't got to know anything.
Straw man
like
sales. That's a straw person sales, I think is what they call them. Yeah. And so the issue, and what's crazy about this is while this is happening, cops are dying like crazy from COVID in their workings with interacting with the public. Like they're getting COVID from dealings with, not at home, not another, the COVID, when they trace where it's coming from work. It's like you're fucking them. They're fucking their own selves over. Yeah. And then like, why don't people want to be cops? This is the guy running your union. Why would I want to be involved in that unless you are interested in being that kind of person? Which doesn't sound great to me. Some other wild shit. Talking about telling people not to do something. Donald Trump came out this week. I know we've been fortunate over the last 6 to 7 months and not have to talk about this dude a whole lot. But this I couldn't avoid. He doesn't have Twitter anymore, so he has to put out these statements. Yeah, that's how this whole thing works now, which is fucking hilarious. But he said, if we don't solve the presidential election fraud of 2020, which we have thoroughly and conclusively documented, Republicans will not be voting in 22 or 24. It is the single most important thing for Republicans to do. By the way, Donald Trump, the man who is definitely interested in running in 2024, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing with that. I heard a perspective on it that kind of fucked me up because this is actually a little scary. He's not saying that he's going to tell his supporters not to vote.
Right.
What he's saying is that's supposedly a message to all the Republican legislatures that if you do not fix this motherfucker, so people if you don't do a Texas and fuck up the thing, then that's what's gonna happen.
In his mind, when he says
it's a threat.
In his mind, when he says Republicans, capital R, he's talking about Trump Republicans.
Yeah.
He's not talking about Liz Cheney Republican. He's talking about Trump. He's not talking about homeboy in Illinois, Kitzinger. Yeah. He's not talking about them Republicans. He's talking about us. He's saying, you're exactly right. Yeah. What he's telling you is that, hey, yo, if you're a Republican somewhere and you don't get behind my fucking shit, I'm gonna tell all my fucking cult people not to roll with your ass. And that is dangerous because after January 6th happened, as it was happening and in the couple days after, there were a lot of Republicans who were like, yo, fuck this nigga. This shit was too much for me. I'm done. And then McCarthy goes down to Florida, McConnell goes down to Florida, and all of a sudden it's like, well, we don't really want to see anybody get in any real trouble with this. Yeah. And that's when it comes down to it, they really know. By the way, we're about to find out.
Merrick Garland is a piece of shit. And he's proven himself to be a piece of shit from the jump. It looked good when he was coming in, and I was listening to a commentator, and somebody said, actually it was Frangela, comedians, and then it's like, we got to stop praising motherfuckers just because they did their job right once.
Right.
Then she was like, because he apparently is way more conservative than
sure, yeah.
Because when Obama picked him, he picked him because he was like, yo, it'd be easier to confirm.
He was like, oh, y'all be down for this guy.
He's got Republicans alike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's apparently straight down the
middle.
middle.
Of course, Obama in a consistent spot where he had to placate to the middle and beyond, right? Whether that's how he actually believes or not, I will never know.
But here's the thing. He said they are God damn it, I just lost it. Fuck. So I had a thing and I'm gone now. But
the weed is back.
Yeah, the weed's back. But these motherfuckers are basically plotting like a low key Civil War type shit. And Merrick Garland. Yeah, Merrick Garland's punk ass. He doesn't want to lock up the white people, the Trump people, because he said he's afraid that it'll radicalize them more, which is fucking bullshit.
Man.
They smeared shit on the Capitol. They killed people.
How do you think black people should feel right now?
They caused people to die.
Why?
Okay, I think the death toll now is at like 6. It's 5 or 6. It's insane.
Y'all been locking up black people. Like, are you not worried about us radicalizing? Because, I mean, it's wild. It's so wild that they have now started doing this thing where like they've been flying these all black American flags.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with
I know
this whole
what the black
thing?
flags are.
Yeah, so this is a thing that means no quarter shall be given. They were meant to be the opposite of the flag of surrender. I think this is a Civil War thing that happened with Confederate soldiers.
Yes.
You sent me something about a book about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that coincidence or did you look at the notes?
That was coincidence. I had not looked at the
really?
notes. It was coincidence
really?
because
this is a new thing that people are starting to recognize. Like the story about we talk about weekly stories, so this just came out this week about it being a thing. So
yeah, I was literally when you just started talking about it. I don't know you didn't when you look at the show. Look back at the show, you're gonna see my eyes go, because I was like, I sent him a thing about that. How did he get this in the show notes? Or how did because I'm thinking I'm not looking at the show notes. I was like, is this in the show notes?
Yeah. It means so a black flag, according to what they're saying, it says they will not surrender. They will not take prisoners. They're willing to die for their cause. They will execute their enemies.
It's way worse than that.
Yes, I know. I just mean in basic terms.
I'm sorry.
Go deeper.
Yeah, it is. But back in the Civil War. When black Union soldiers started fighting and many slaves in the South started helping the Union soldiers and stuff, there were crews of Confederate soldiers who flew a black flag who were excessively savage in murdering black soldiers. Of
course. If you give no quarter, that means that we don't take prisoners.
Exactly.
Surrender my ass. We murdering you. Like,
yeah.
The whole point is to eliminate you.
But
it's genocide.
It wasn't just that they killed everybody. Apparently they were incredibly vulgarly savage about it.
Yeah.
And that black flag means that. And there's also the blue line. There's the black flag with the blue line. The blue line is to basically a thing that I was just talking about, a nod to the police,
right?
To say that the police are with them,
in
this regard.
Yeah. Another group that seems to be with them is a church. This is going to be the weirdest thing I will say in a while. There's a MAGA gun church that worships with AR-15s, which that sounds like 3 different sentences all in one. But not only are they a MAGA gun church that worships with AR-15s, they recently bought a mountain property in Tennessee, which is, I'm sure, just to praise the Lord. It's a group called the Rod of Iron Ministries, which.
I believe they are part of the Moonies.
Yeah, they are the Moonies.
Yes.
It's the son of
Son Moon.
Sun Young Moon. Sun Young Moon is his kid, Hyung Jin Moon, who goes by Sean.
Wow, your name's Young Jin Moon, and you go by Sean.
Yeah, you got that cool ass name, and that's what you're going by.
Wow.
So they've got this land, I guess, that they're fucking with here that is not awesome, and they're going to be using it as a training facility. Which is not what I want to hear after a story about black flags.
Yeah, and a mega church that worships with AR-15s.
Yeah, worshiping with AR-15 seems like not the great idea. Is that the weirdest? Is that picture up on the screen for people to see, James? That is the weirdest. Like, what the fuck? That's Taliban shit, dude. Yeah, dude, that is absolute Taliban.
Waliban, white Taliban. The Waliban.
That is the craziest. To me, that is just so insane, dude. I don't understand. Who sees that and goes, oh, I found my church.
The Taliban.
There it is. Yeah, right. That's there's no way that could work out. We don't have a ton of time left, so I want to get on some entertaining shit. We've got like 10, 12 minutes left. I don't want to blow the chance to talk about some important things here. We've talked about Dave Chappelle's show last week. It came out this week that there were a lot of problems inside Netflix before this special came out. There are a lot of people upset about the idea the special is coming out. Largely because there are people that work at Netflix who are trans, who had seen the special and said this was a problem. And so when it came out, one of their higher ups or one of their people in a decent enough position had tweeted out something about it. They ended up suspending 3 employees who criticized the special, which that doesn't really work well for me. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to take the special down. Okay. It's your shit. You have the right to do that. But to suspend your employees for saying that this is a harmful thing to their community is like kind of horseshit to me.
I don't agree with that. I understand it puts I can understand from it makes a company look bad, but I disagree.
You know what makes a company look bad?
Suspending them, exactly. I was like,
what makes a company look bad is letting somebody go out and say a bunch of shit that could be harmful and dangerous to the community of people that you have employed by you.
You know what? I agree with you. After watching the special, I feel like Dave was trying to do something from a perspective. I was like, everybody acts like he landed. Even Rob even used the term. Sorry, Rob.
He landed the plane.
I disagree. I think I watched it and I said I think he landed. The racial disparity part of it was fine, but here's what I felt about it at the end. His main story was almost the equivalent of a white dude saying, "I have a black friend that lets me say nigga."
I've heard that, and I've heard that the underlying point was the idea that trans people have become more accepted than black people, which to me is an absurd premise, and
especially when black trans people are getting murdered at an alarming rate.
Including black, exactly, and so. The other thing about this is this weird idea, like, to me, and it's, comedy runs across a whole spectrum of different things that it can be, but one of the main things that, especially with his comedy, is it's contrarian. Yeah. Right? Like, the real great thing about comedy is you get people in a room who have a certain thought and mindset in their head that is the general mindset going on, and then you present a concept that they go, I don't think I like that, and then you make them laugh at how ridiculous their idea of saying they don't like that is. That's part of the gimmick of comedy, right? Is you lead this situation where you go, here's a thought you have about a thing because I've said it like this, and I'm going to tell you another thing that makes you laugh at the ridiculously of this thought you just had. That's part of the whole thing, right? Yeah. It's a realization thing. And this idea that the contrarian idea is to shit on transgender people is a false concept that is played out only because someone spends too much time paying attention to something that's not real. Yeah. The statistics are most people, while they're okay with the existence of trans people, don't want to do anything to help them and don't have a whole lot of concern over their welfare or safety, to be honest with you. And so the idea of thinking the opposing view to take is to be on team turf. That's not that's the general view. Yeah. That's the overwhelming general view if you really get down to it. Yeah. And so there's nothing like, like the things that Lenny Bruce or George Carlin were talking about, that was contrarian because it was opposed to what the world standard was currently at that time. Yeah. Saying that you're not into trans people, that's still the world standard overall. Yeah. That's not special for me.
I know people were, after watching this, people kept saying, well, I don't understand why he keeps going to this topic. I understand now why he keeps going to this topic because his friend died. His friend committed suicide, and he was heartbroken. And so he talked, because the story about her dying, I had heard that already. Verbatim, almost the same way he told it then. And so knowing that he did it and repeated it, in a thing that obviously that was the impetus for what he was doing, and I understand his hurt. I don't like the way I'm not a fan of the special.
Yeah,
I did laugh. There was some shit in the middle that I laughed at. It
is okay to like a comic and also decide that there are certain things they've put out you're not a fan of. That is also perfectly fine, right? Like you could like Dave Chappelle and think that he's talented and funny, and also be like, but a couple of his specials, man, did not hit me right. That is perfectly okay.
Richard Pryor literally had an album out that he was so fucking high on that most of the album is this.
Right. Like yeah. There's a weird story that's come out of Marvel recently. Stephen DeKnight, who worked with Marvel for a long time on a couple of different things, he was a showrunner for Daredevil. He worked on Pacific Rim Uprising, Jupiter's Legacy. He's done a ton of different stuff for Marvel over the years as well. He recently left Marvel, decided he would not work with them anymore over a story that came to light, that has come to light a couple times, but everybody's kind of forgotten. There was an editor at Marvel named C.B. Sabolsky. Now, the rule at Marvel is you cannot write stories for Marvel if you're an editor. It's like, obviously, you would just pick your own shit all the time to write, right? Yeah. So they don't let you do that. So this white man, created a fake Japanese pseudonym and a Japanese backstory to write stories for Marvel that were Japanese in their like with Japanese cultured narratives in them and things like that. Holy
shit.
Still working for Marvel, by the way. Still there. They have not fired him, which is why Stephen Knight left the company.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he tried to give interviews. This guy gave interviews in character. He like pulled a bunch of shit when people were trying to like meet the person and all this other
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
But by the way, if you're listening to the podcast and you just hear me breathing, it's because I'm just sitting here mouth agape. But I can't fucking believe. Holy shit! How long was he doing this for?
A couple of years. He did it for
oh my God!
He still works there, dude. He's still there.
No,
like, oh shit, dude, we got to fire you. That's insane. You pulled a fast one on us to be able to write stories, and also you're fired.
So here is where I feel like Disney might be fucking up Marvel, because I literally just watched this other day. Stan Lee was like, he wasn't anybody. Well, nobody will ever call Stan Lee a civil rights icon. However, you could and you should. If you know anything, Marvel is like the first to put black.
Yeah,
first black people. So my point is, Stan Lee alive, this motherfucker will be out. He went out the door, as soon as the story hit. And now this dude's still working there. That's not Marvel at all. That's not the Marvel that I know and love, and I'm very fucking disappointed about
Stan in the comic book world, Superman's son, Jonathan Kent, who is now the new Superman, he came out this week. He came out as bi.
Likes peen.
Yeah, I mean, he's not real, so I think that's okay.
Liking peen is real, just not him.
Yeah, liking peen is certainly real. He's not real. He's also an alien. You know what I mean? So this concern over whether this, they're like, we can't have a man who likes boys and girls. And it's like, well, first of all, he's not a man. He's a Kryptonian. It's all good, baby. He's from a planet that isn't even real. It's not even like Martian Manhunter came out as bi and they're like, yeah, Mars, we're gonna be there someday. It's like, no. He's from a planet that doesn't exist, in a world that doesn't exist, written on pages by somebody who made them up, who I think would probably get to decide whatever the fuck they want to do with the character, I would assume, right? That's Dean Cain got mad about it because Dean Cain
played Superman,
the worst
briefly.
Superman, by the way.
Piece of shit.
There's been no Superman that's been worse than Dean Cain, and I actually watched Superman and Lois, or whatever the fuck it was called back in the day.
Yeah.
Clark and Lois. Yeah, Superman and Lois is amazing. That dude playing Superman now is like, he's all right with me. That Tyler Hoechlin cat. It's if you ever, I know you're not a CW DC guy. Mm-hmm. It is currently the one show that's on there that's a superhero show where I'm like, do y'all shouldn't y'all let the rest of the shows get some of these writers? Like, everything about that show is better than every other one of the DC shows. It's the most non-CW like show that they got on there.
Oh wow,
it's good. And I don't like superhero shows with the kids involved, but it works out great. Anyway, that's the thing that's happened. Two more things, then we'll get out of here. Captain Kirk went to space for the first time. William Shatner. Not that I think this is the best way for us to be spending our money, especially when it's a dude whose whole show was literally in a cashless, classless society. You know what I mean? Like by the time Star Trek is happening, Like this thing where it's going to be $1 gajillion to go to space, or like you had to, like they would just make shit in the maker, you know what I mean? Like, turkey roast, and then be just like, oh, turkey roast, all right, cool. Like
I do love the fact that his when he came back, I don't know if you've heard anything he said. He has been very emotional, and he is
I watched it.
I don't know if he had been before, but he is right now a huge climate change advocate, and that we need to do something. We got to save the goddamn planet because it's and all that stuff. So
he's like, it took all this energy just to get me out this far. There's no way we can just colonize another planet.
Unless he is probably kind of a brilliant marketer of himself. Sure. Unless he thought ahead and said, "Hey, I don't want to catch any flack for doing this billionaire shit. So let me let me come down and say, how much I love the planet."
Did you watch what happened when he landed and he was talking to Bezos?
Yeah, he started breaking down.
No, you're missing what happened.
Oh, no.
So he's there and he's having this emotional moment, right? And he's trying to tell Bezos, like, you got to understand how amazing, like what is happening, and what happens to you inside when you finally see it. And it's not unlike what I've heard other people say. Like I've heard astronauts say, yeah, that moment when you get out there and you see it, you're like, oh, right, like the grandest. But like he's having this moment, and in the middle of it, Bezos goes, "Give me that champagne bottle." He then starts like opening it up and shaking it and spraying it everywhere. And you see Shatner pause for a minute and like take a step back, like, what the fuck is going on? And in that moment, you see the difference between the ideals of these two people.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because what's going on with William Shatner is
I didn't even pay attention to that shit in the background.
What William Shatner is seeing is he's going, listen, humanity needs to know about this whole thing. They need to realize, like, you can unite the people in a cause if you will get this to more people as quickly. There's something to be gained here for humanity. And Jeff Bezos is going, another successful flight and another way to prove we can make $1 gajillion off this shit. This is the 18th one. We're fucking rich. He's spraying champagne, not out of celebration over this emotional moment this man is having, who's an icon in so many ways. He's seeing it as another proof that we're about to make a fucking buttload of money. All that money I lost to McKenzie is coming right back, baby.
Oh, he already got that back.
You know what I mean? Last thing I want to talk about, because we talked about this in some previous episodes, there's some issues about Letitia Wright, who is Shuri from the Black Panther movies.
Yeah, refusing to get vaxxed.
They were making a whole bunch of big deal out. I've seen these stories reported over and over and over again from a magical source who claimed that she was spreading anti-vax shit on the set of the new Black Panther movie. And when it came out, I was like, man, when I was running the Trusty Sidekick, there were sources that were wrong every fucking day about what was going to happen in a movie. We used to keep track of them. You go watch a movie like, none of this shit is real. There's a story for a minute that Silver Surfer was going to show up in Endgame. That shit didn't happen. Yeah. The dude was listed in IMDb as one of the guys who was going to be in the movie.
I remember that. Holy shit.
So she had to come out and be like, I'm not spreading anti-vax shit. She goes, I put up a video and deleted it when everybody told me I was fucked up, but I was like, all right. And then I'm like, I'm not causing no problems, y'all. I'm just trying to be
great.
Young Black Panther sis. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be sure. I mean, maybe. Who knows? They haven't said what's going to happen.
Oh, really?
They haven't committed that.
I thought they committed to her.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Oh, shit. Oh,
but she's got a place in the fucking universe. You know what I mean? So I am very pleased that that's the case that happened. Like I said, when you hear shit like that and there's no real, like, confirmed thing, like Gruden, they get this nigga's emails. You know what I mean? This bitch, some asshole who she didn't treat right on set one day went and told somebody some shit, and now all of a sudden, like, PAs get fired from gigs all the time, right? Like, people get, it doesn't matter almost what level you're on, unless you're with a union setup, you get, and there's some non-union people on those sets, you can get lost real quick. Maybe a caterer said some shit she didn't like, or she said some shit, and they could blow that shit up with no problem. Fuck. So I am very glad that, like, it's been weighted out, and she's actually addressed and said this is bullshit. So
I just saw fucking Trevor Noah make a joke about that though.
Yeah, it's
like a day ago.
Yeah, so thank goodness for that. Also, Eternals will be out shortly, and I'm very excited for that shit to happen.
Super stoked.
What you got going on this week, man? What you got going on?
I got a show coming up on next Saturday in Romeoville. At High Point, I don't know, theater. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. But you go to my xlcomedy.com. Excuse me. I'm sorry. The weed is hitting me real hard now. Hit me up on social media at XL Comedy on all the social media. Or you can hit me at my email address, xlcomedybiz@gmail.com, because fuck GoDaddy, I'm dropping that other one.
I will also be at that show next week. It's in Romeoville. It's at the High Point Creative Arts Center.
Yes.
It is a fundraiser for the Leadership Academy.
For the kids.
Joe Johnson's out there doing a great job with young kids out there.
Raising young
helping
men.
them get started in production and all types of great stuff, which is amazing. So we're going to raise some money for them out there.
Super dope.
Go to Mocha_Jesus on Instagram or Twitter. There's a link in my bio to get tickets for that. I am also going to be running a show on November 7th. It's going to be called Baked and Roasted. It is a combination weed and comedy event. So there will be weed vendors there at the beginning, and then later in the evening I will have Zach O'Ryan, Kim Marion is going to be with me as well. We'll have some other great comics. By the way, Erica Clark and Kristen Toomey on that show in Romeoville.
Yes,
Again,
yes.
at Mocha_Jesus for all the info on that. Get over to People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Please go like and subscribe to this podcast and any other ones you can find on that network. Follow James Webb around. It's the only way you're going to see what's really happening in Chicago. Until next week, we're out of here. That's what's up.
Shout
y'all.
out, Rob. We
Shout
miss
out,
you,
Rob.
buddy.
Rob loves shout outs.
Go ahead.
They can try to steal the moves, but they ain't us. Thank you, gang, but nigga, you a stranger. Bitches wanna fuck, but nigga, you can't blame us. You can't. Bitch, you better play your role. I feel like Nelly when he dropped that country.